In this parable, we hear of this great wedding banquet that has been prepared by none other than the king. And he sends out his servants to invite many, many people, but they will not come. They won't come to a party hosted by the king, the richest person in the whole country. One who's not going to expect anything in return, is just going to put on like the best party, and they still don't want to come. Why not? What's holding them back? We can guess, right? Maybe what's holding them back is that really, at the end of the day, they don't love the king. They don't actually love the king, and so they can say no. If they loved him, for sure they would be there. In a similar way for us, this parable is like our love for God, a reflection of our love for God, and also it resembles the Holy Mass, right? The Holy Mass is the great wedding banquet where we are invited and where we come to the house of the King to share in his delights. One of the quotes from Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, whose feast day we celebrate today, he says that the measure of love is love without measure. That the measure of love, if you're going to measure it, see how great it is. It's to love without measure, right? That's how you know love, is that you're willing to give and not to count the cost. You're willing just to love for the sake of the other person. For us, in a similar way, the Mass is an act of love, right? Each time that we come to the Mass, we're trying to love God with our whole hearts. We're trying to put our whole hearts onto the altar. We're trying to tell God that we want to be faithful, that we want to be closer to him, that we need his help for ourselves and for our families. And so for us, like those who were invited to this wedding banquet, maybe the reason they didn't go, they weren't that interested, because their love was small. But for us here at the Mass, our love is great, our love is big, and we want to love Christ, especially here in his church and in the Holy Mass.